If you're running the 2026 London Marathon and are already spiraling about race weekend, breathe. I've got you with part two of my tips to get you through a marathon race weekend so you can chill and remain focused on your training. Something really unique about the London Marathon is the fact that they have three individual start lines for the race. I mentioned in the previous video that each of the assembly areas are correlated with your start line. These will either be at Blackheath, Maze Hill, or Greenwich. Think of these assembly areas essentially as your corrals, except these are large grassy areas where you'll be able to check your gear, use the restroom, and just hang out before you actually start the race. And speaking of start times, this marathon starts rather late for the World Marathon Majors, with start times ranging between 9:35 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning. So be prepared if you're in a later corral for some slightly warmer weather as you progress into the race. Once the race starts and you're just running with your smaller assembly area, you will have some room to run, which is beneficial because you will be running downhill for roughly the first 3 miles of the race. Be very careful here that you do not go too quick and destroy your legs early on in the race. You'll want those at mile 20. Another note about the three separate start lines is that they all converge by mile 3. So be prepared for the first couple of miles to be just running with your assembly area, but then merging together with the masses just after mile 3, where it will then become a little bit more congested. If you've run other international marathons, you by now know the course is generally marked in kilometers. The good news about London is that every mile is marked as well as each 5 kilometer mark. Hydration stations during this marathon are super unique, and that London actually hands out many bottles of water on course, starting at mile 3 and then every 3 miles until mile 15. They then also have bottles of water for you at mile 17, 19, 21, and 24. Unfortunately, if you're training for this race outside the United Kingdom, you're likely going to have a very difficult time getting your hands on the electrolyte drink mix that they use on course, which is Lucozade. But they will have it at mile 7.5, 16, 20, and mile 24, and also have energy gels by Lucozade at mile 13 and 18. And fortunately, because so many of you will be unable to train with Lucozade, the marathon does allow you to actually bring hydration packs with you, and they have water refill stations at mile 7.5, 15, and 20. And now the fun part with some additional course details. Once you hit mile 15, it's going to get a little bit lonely as you start entering Isles of the Dogs and Canary Wharf. This is also where your GPS watch is going to start to go a little bit wonky. At this point, you'll be mostly running off feel due to the tall buildings from the old financial district of London. One of the most epic parts of the London Marathon is crossing over Tower Bridge, and that part of the race is just after mile 12, so you will not be at the half marathon point at that time. However, once you get off Tower Bridge, you will notice other runners going the other way if you're in a later corral. Those generally will either be the elites or people that started long before you. So don't panic when you see them. Just enjoy it and feed off of their energy as well. While the London Marathon is rather flat except for the downhill at the beginning, near mile 24, you'll actually run into a sneaky hill as you approach the Blackfriars underpass. The good news here is once you get up that sneaky hill, you only have 2 miles left and you'll be passing the London Eye and Big Ben. After you've passed Big Ben, you have just over a mile remaining, and you know you're close to the finish line, which you'll be making that right hand turn at Buckingham Palace, followed by another right hand turn onto the mall, where you only have 200 meters to go until you are officially a London Marathon finisher. Congratulations.